following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Brian Broaddus, Vach Lombardi, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Wednesday, November 12th, 2025, season 21, episode number 75. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios. At the Star, we are presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. Got my crew here today. We're going to start getting you guys ready for Cowboys versus Raiders. Before we do that, though, we got a very special guest. As the whole organization is now trying to reconcile all that's happened over the last week with the passing of Marshawn Kneeland, I started thinking back to the 2012 season. And that was a season when the Cowboys were in season and had another experience like this where a player lost his life in the middle of a season. And so I thought, let's bring somebody on that maybe has a little more experience with that to talk through how a team manages through these sorts of tragic situations. So I have my friend Danny McCray, six-year NFL veteran. He was here with the Cowboys for 5 years and was here during that 2012 season when Jerry Brown passed. Let's start first with, as you heard the news of Marshawn's passing, did it bring back any of those memories of Jerry Brown, just thinking from a player standpoint and I guess empathizing with the players that are on the team?
Yeah, I mean, first condolences to him and the teammates. To me, I worry for them because I think they have to kind of figure out what's going on inside of them when that happens, right? That's their friend, that's their brother, that's somebody they've been with, that they bled with, that they bonded with, and then they have to process what actually just happened in that moment. And a lot of times, I know for us, it was shocking. Like, you don't believe it. Like, it couldn't have happened. Not the guy that I know. So I think you have to process the shock, and then once you have some time to sit with your own emotions, that's when it kind of starts to hit you. And I think that's where this team probably landed over the weekend and then going into these first few days of the week. Yeah,
one of the interesting things back then, and for those that don't know, it was this all transpired with Jerry Brown. It all transpired a Friday night heading into a Saturday when we were about to travel. And I remember I was actually on my way to the airport, and Nick called me and said, "Hey, man, I got some bad news," and started telling me what was going on. And then we got to the site of the plane. We're on the plane. Everybody's on the plane, players, media that travels with them, all of our crew. And then all of a sudden they just say, okay, everybody except for players, coaches, we need you to get off the plane. We get off the plane, and obviously not all the media knew what was going on, but I knew. So I knew what was happening on the plane. They were telling you guys, informing you guys, for some of you that had not heard, informing you of what had happened to your teammate. Take me back to there and talk me through the mood of the team as they found out, the plane ride, and then trying to move their attention to, we still got to play a football game.
Yeah, I mean, just to go back just a little further, as you said, we didn't know, right? So You think we have to show up on that morning to go through our walkthroughs and do all of those things, and we're starting to, like, you realize who's not at practice or who hasn't showed up. So you start to hear those questions about where are they, right? So for us, we were like, well, something must have happened last night, but they're late. Typically, that's what happens. Somebody goes out, they stay out too long, and they oversleep. And I remember everybody would just keep asking, and nobody would give you the answer, right? So we're going through that ride to the plane site, and it starts to get you start getting a little bit more worried because they're not there at that time, and then you get the news. And some of them may have thought the worst, but for most of us, especially because those were friends of ours, we were just hoping for the best. I just, like, at this point, I don't even remember if we won the game or lost it. Still today.
They
because
did.
Because it was so irrelevant.
You guys were amazing that day. Really, yeah.
It was.
You played, and it came down to like the very end of the game, and you needed to get a stop, and you got to stop, and you got the points at the end to kick the game-winning field goal and stuff like that. And I was going to ask you about that, the way you're just talking about it, though. When you got off the plane and we got on the buses and we went through the lobby and all that, and everybody kind of went to their room, though, how did you guys – we got separated from you guys, but how did – as a team that night with the meetings and the – how do you put football in perspective of going out and having to do your job the next day?
Yeah, I think that's part of being a professional. I think it goes – what everybody always says is when you get between the white lines, you leave everything outside of it there, right? I think in these type of situations, that is almost impossible. I think when you have a tight-knit team and a team that loves each other, I think having more meetings helps, right? Getting them all in the same area, allowing them to lean on each other so they can process those emotions. I think that's what it was for us, right? We had coaches who were able to speak to that and they were able to understand what everybody was going through and how everybody was different. So it was football meetings, but it was really a people meeting. It was how are you guys feeling? But they even asked us the question, like, do you guys want to play? Like, can you guys play, right? And, of course, you have leaders in that locker room with Jason Wittens and Tony Romo's and DeMarcus's and those guys, and they're like, hey, we're going to band together and we're going to play for our brother. And I think that's where you naturally land at. I think that's where this team is going to land at. What are we going to do for our brother now that this has happened? How can we represent him in the best way?
It's like an honor thing. You go out to play in a way to honor him.
Right.
Yeah. If you had to give one piece of advice to the players and coaches who are now being faced with a similar thing this year and heading into this game and now having to prepare for a game on Monday, what would that piece of advice be?
Stick together. I would say stick together, lean on each other, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Right? Don't try to go through this whole process of blocking it out, trying to be the tough guy. Lean on your teammates. Go to each other's homes. Make sure y'all communicate with each other. If you're feeling some type of way about it, make sure you talk to your coaches so they can get you in front of the right people so you can all bond more in this situation. I think the worst thing you can do is be on your own, right, and try to handle your emotions on your own. Handle those emotions together as a team and make this thing mean something as you go out to fight to try to make your playoff run or whatever this season means to you.
Yeah. It's interesting you said you don't even remember if y'all won that game. How long did it take for you to get back to a sense of, I don't know if normal is really even the right word, but a sense of, okay, I'm back, and it feels like I'm just playing football again versus just always feeling like something's a little off?
Man, I would love to give you a time frame for that. That situation was different because it was two people involved, and one of my brothers was still having to deal with that stuff. So it was 2 years before because he was still going through the process without getting into too many details. After the season, you get a chance to kind of step back and go, okay, football is football, but this is life, right? And then after you process that you can get back to what you're trying to do. But I don't imagine these guys going back to just saying, all right, we're back to football, back to regularly scheduled program. And I think this is going to weigh on them, and I think this is going to be something that bonds them as they continue to move forward in the season.
I think what I find so difficult because it is a different situation. The circumstances of both things that occurred, one was based on the actions of somebody's decisions from that day. The other one was someone that when you hear these players talk about it, you're like, you still have that in your mind of like, man, how did I not notice? How did this happen? Like, we work with this person, one of the most smiley people in the building. He's always had a great smile. So mentally, that's where I'm like, how can this team kind of pull themselves from that, like those thoughts of just coming to terms with what happened and just the preparation during that week? I'm like, what can that look like?
Yeah, listen, and I've seen the stories of Shotty making sure he brings all the right people in here to help them deal with that. I would say we probably had that, but not to that extent. So shout out to him for bringing the professionals in to help answer those questions for those young men of figuring out how to process that and move forward. And I'm sure they're going to tell them, as a husband of a wife who's a therapist, the feelings don't just go away. There is no way for you to compartmentalize those feelings and then just go play. But that's why you have your brotherhood there, your coaches, and the resources that the Cowboys will provide for everyone for when they have those questions and they have those feelings as they're trying to prepare, right? And their coaches are going to be patient with them. They're going to understand this is what's going on. It's happened to all of them, so they do understand everything that these teams and these players are feeling. So I think as they go through scheduling and they go through practice, they're going to make sure that they're also aware that we haven't just moved on to football, that there's still everything that's still going on in their minds.
Because with y'all had already all the preparation that was to be made to play that game. This situation is like you're having to prepare. So are you there mentally? When after that game, y'all coming back, was there a difference during that week? Like, as you guys were absorbing everything that happened, like, did it affect you mentally as far as how focused you were able to be during that week for that following game?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. And I think that goes back to one, how you can practice being a professional and how the leadership in your locker room helps you navigate and move toward back to preparation. I can remember hearing the news. I remember literally getting taped by Britt Brown, and I just could not stop crying. And he looked at me and said, "You're not all right. You can't play today." Right? And then there's a conversation that I have with a guy like a Barry Church or any of the other close teammates that I have there to help me get over the hump to be able to go do what I need to do. And then after, when I tell you, we probably spent the most time that we've ever spent together when we got back from there trying to figure out how to process and move forward. And these guys, I believe, will do that just based off what you hear from what type of teammates they have and how close they are.
Yeah, I'm actually, I wonder which would be, neither is easy. I wonder which is tougher, having to find out literally 24 hours before you have to get on the field to play, or finding out a week before and you still have to go through that while you're preparing to play. Like as Amber said, in your situation, you guys, the hay was in the barn. You'd already done the preparation. Now you just got to figure out a way to get out there and actually play for a game, right? As opposed to these guys where they have to now start shifting their minds away from the grief and into really being focused on the next several days of practice and being able to really be focused on what they're doing and preparing themselves for a game. I don't know. What do you think is tougher?
And that's hard. That's hard to do. But since I was in that situation and knowing how hard it was to go, because we were like, we're not playing this game. There's no way we could play. One, we haven't figured out what happened until we got to the plane, and then it's, wait, that happened? No, we want to go check on. You want to go check on folks. You want to talk to them. You want to call them. You want to figure out everything that's going on. That was it for me. Just for me personally, because of how close I am to those two, it was almost impossible. Yeah. Like I said, that's why to me winning wasn't a thing. I was muscling my way through figuring out how to get my cover 3 drop just because it was a habit of something that I had been doing for my entire life, not because I had gotten over it and was able to put that behind me so I can compete in that game. So for me, that's where mine is. I think them dealing with this throughout the bye week and having the opportunity to really communicate with each other and express their feelings and do all that, I think that's going to help. I think in that situation, there was no time for us to express anything. It was,
you're still in shock.
You're still in shock, right?
It yet.
So you're trying to figure out cover 3 and whatever you're running, but then you're in shock of like, nah, no way. This is still a dream.
Yeah.
It's still a dream.
Yeah. When it comes to mental health, we hear this all the time that for men, it's sometimes hard to kind of get to that space of being, I don't know, being vulnerable. Obviously, you mentioned your wife, one of my favorite people on the planet. She is in that space and works in that space. How much did that help you be able to maybe process this a little better, where maybe some guys may not have that kind of support at home?
I would say that she wasn't a therapist at the time. She was working on being one.
Yeah.
But as I look back at having somebody like that be able to see how you're really feeling, pass through what you're saying, your natural response is, "No, I'm okay. I'm gonna be all right." Mm-hmm. And somebody being able to be like, "You're not," and it's okay not to feel that way and to be able to talk you through your feelings. That's a priceless person to have in your life. So outside of just that situation, just having her be able to talk me through any ups and downs that I'm having is priceless. And that's why I say I'm so glad that Shotty did what he did to be able to get the right people in the building to be that person for this team and these coaches.
Yeah, I really believe Shotty is the right guy for this moment for this team. I really do.
You might not remember much about that game, but you had 5 tackles.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
It was defensively. It was a hell of a day. I mean, they Cincinnati, both you guys were battling for playoff spots, and so much on the line for both teams to be able to. This just talks about the professionalism, though, you guys had as a team and the focus you had. I mean, I to this day say it's one of the greatest coaching jobs Jason Garrett ever did to get you guys to the point where you can go and win a game that meant so much with so much on your mind. It's a credit to you guys. It really was.
Yep.
Well, once you were on the field, did you feel like you weren't thinking about that? Where now you're just, your mind is distracted in the game. Like, were you able to be I don't want to say fully focused, because yes, you still didn't with that, but you just go on, your body goes on automatic. And you're just going through, like, you were able to stay in the game.
Yeah, it's habit, right? We're creatures. We've been doing this for so long. I can walk on the field today and drop into cover 3. Like that is a natural thing. So when I say
that's
that,
rare around here sometimes.
I was about to say,
no,
you're not available? We could use some help.
You can use a safety that knows how to play cover 3. I mean,
as a professional, I think what you're getting at is, as a professional, once you get on the field, your thought is not about what has happened, right? You are then, and you're in the arena at that point. Is your focus up to what it usually is? Probably not. Can you really tell? Probably not. But once you get back to the sideline and you've given up a 40-yard bomb, which you usually don't do, you're naturally going to attribute that to, like, man, I just this isn't me.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't thinking about that the entire time I was on the field. Our focus as a team was probably not as good as it should have been. Now that you say we won, I had 5 tackles. Probably could have had 8. Right? Probably could have won by 15 or 20.
It was a rough day.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
Well, Danny, we appreciate you coming by. I think this really can add a little more perspective. That was the goal, is to let the listeners hear a little bit more from a player's perspective of what this may be like going through this week. We appreciate you taking some time with us. We're going to take our first break. We'll come back. We'll get into the conversation around the Cowboys versus the Vegas Raiders. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman here, the official pitmaster of the Dallas Cowboys. This holiday season, I've got Yeti's new insulated bowls and food storage working overtime. The insulated bowls are amazing. It'll keep queso warm or guacamole fresh. And the food storage containers protect my ingredients and help me stay organized. They also make great gifts for the host, making Yeti bowls and food storage MVPs for the holidays. Get yours at Yeti.com or a Yeti store near you.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
Cowboys fans, here's the game plan. Touchdown Tuesday at Take 5 Oil Change. Just wear your Cowboys gear and save 25% on your oil change. No huddle, no overtime. Just drive in, stay in your car, and roll out. You'll be tailgate ready in 10 minutes flat. Keeping up with your car shouldn't be a tough call. Take 5 makes it as easy as calling the coin toss. Take 5 is the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit take5.com to find a location near you. Offer valid through December 31st, 2025. Terms and conditions apply. Valid only at participating locations.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to the break.
Choose perfection. Choose LG OLED Evo. Check out the best TV in the game at LG.com.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break. We're live from SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We are. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. You wasn't on it. You on? Are you on that chat?
Yeah.
Who's distracted now?
I was saying.
Who's distracted now?
I was saying, what's up, chat? Y'all doing?
Who's not paying attention?
He didn't
now?
ask me nothing.
That's what happens.
He didn't ask me nothing.
All right, Vach.
Yes, you. Huh?
All right, Vach. You ready? You and Brian ready to give us some details on this Vegas offense?
Amber just throwing stuff across. Hey, man. So, man. You know,
I love how you start with man.
We gotta be careful when we're evaluating some of these teams, man. We got to be careful. To an average team, the Vegas Raiders are their offense, because that's what we're breaking down today. They're very much somebody that you can scoff at. They can't run the ball all that well. When they throw it, it's very sideways. They don't get down the field a whole bunch. I don't know if that's just because they can't go downfield or because, Chip Kelly just won't go downfield. Chip Kelly must have owed somebody a favor. The rent must have been due. He must have told them same lies Mike McCarthy told. Hey, man, I've been watching the Raiders film all lost. I love it, ready for this job. He must needed the job because it ain't all coagulating over there. It ain't all coming together. Something's happening that's missing. Geno is... I think we all have a common opinion about Geno to where we can, so if you got Geno and an offense that's not quite working schematically, your run game can't get going. And then the worst part about it is that your offensive line is giving you zero help. If they were fully healthy, they're still a bottom of the league offensive line. They got all kind of cats hurt right now. Colton Miller is hurt. Forsythe is like playing for him now. Parham is hurt. Jackson Powers Johnson that we liked in the draft process, who was a center. I thought he was a really good center. They had him playing guard. He wasn't looking good at guard when he was playing, but he's hurt. So they just going through a lot right now. We can go details by the units or whatnot. I'll give Brian an opportunity to speak there. But in context of this Cowboys defense, boy, this is where dreams come true. This is where dreams come true. If you are a player and, you think the fans sick of you, you may be trying to get another contract, you may need a couple more votes to get a Pro Bowl nod or something like that. The Cowboys defense is exactly what you need. Bo Nix was a guy to say, hey, man, he can't throw the ball like that. The Cowboys defense is exactly what you need. You know what I'm saying? So I know the Cowboys have a lot of players coming back that's going to potentially help them, but it ain't what you know, is what you can prove in court. And the Cowboys going to have to show us all. But it's looking like the Raiders going to come here and throw the ball all over us because that's what teams do. You wouldn't assume that Brissett would be able to do it, or Bryce Young would be able to do it. Caleb's doing fine now. But even think about the Packers and how weird they look on offense right now. They really ain't putting the ball against nobody, but they were able to do that.
Russell Wilson. The list goes on and on. Yeah.
You haven't stopped a quarterback this year, so I would be a fool to come on this platform. Amber, love negativity from me. I would be a fool to come on this platform and be like,
I just want you to be realistic.
I'm always realistic. I'm always realistic. The Raiders are the one that you would feel like, hey, man, maybe we can get it going this week. They're going to have to show me, man. Quentin and Overshawn going to have to be superheroes, Brian.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead on about this stuff. And when they've got problems in the offensive line. They've got two young players, though, that you really have to worry about here. And you have to worry about Brock Bowers, the tight end. And there's nobody, I think only the Rams are the only team that throw the ball to their tight ends more than the Raiders do. And he's the main reason why. I mean, he's a vertical player. He's a cross-the-field player. You have to be very aware. And, here we were kind of laughing with, Danny McCray there about playing cover 3 and all that. But, yeah, it's going to come down to, and what we're learning about that Hooker and Wilson both are healthy. So, they'll be practicing this week, getting ready for this game. So it's going to come down to how do you play in the middle of the field? How are you able to defend the seams? That's something really big with this team. And they're another team, too, like I say, with the tight end, but with Ashton Genty. Botch is right, though. They really don't run the ball great. And, you got a guy that, about almost half the time that they hand Ashton Genty the ball, he's getting hit. But then you look at the metrics and stuff and the eye test and all those, he's breaking a lot of tackles. He's 4th in the league when it comes to yards after contact. So here's another game where Vach is right. Hey, Dallas, you got to prove to me you can tackle a little bit. You got to prove to me that you can play, that Quinnen Williams and those guys. Hopefully the Quinnen Williams and the Overshowns, and the Logan Wilsons and the Kenny Clarks and those guys step up this week. and try and play some better run defense, because I have a feeling they're going to try and control some things with Ashton Genty running the ball. They don't have explosive plays. The Browns, only the Browns have fewer explosive plays than the Raiders. But here's once again, and I keep saying Vach's name, but Vach is right about this. This is where dreams come when you're an offense and you're kind of scuffling along and you're really not getting things going the right way. All of a sudden you play the Cowboys and you kind of get your feet back together. But there's going to be a different crew out there playing for your Dallas Cowboys this week. And so hopefully those guys who haven't played a whole lot this season or are new to the program, they're going to have to step up and kind of keep the Raiders where they are offensively.
Let me ask you guys this question. Has a lot of what you've seen from a statistical standpoint, we see that the Raiders aren't able to do a lot of things offensively. Has a lot of that been because for a good part of the season they were without what I think is their best playmaker offensively in Brock Bowers?
Yeah.
With him back, how much does that change, or is that still they just can't seem to get the big plays in their offense?
They can't throw the ball because they can't run the football. They can't run the football because this might be the worst offensive line that you've seen all year. So just me being negative like Amber, I can be positive like
Stop
like
using
Derek.
my name.
I could be.
Worry about you.
So I'm not going to be
Stop
negative
using my name.
like Amber, but if I could be positive like Derek for a second.
I'm a positive person.
If I could be positive like
I'll wear that.
How about we call it for what it is?
What?
Realistic on this side, homers on that side.
I don't think I'm being wrong at all.
That's not homer. That's just I'm a positive person.
I
It is
think
what it is.
I think I'm. Amber,
No, you're not.
Amber, I think I'm being absolutely realistic when I say that this Raiders defense ain't good at all. I mean, probably this Raiders offense.
yeah.
Both. This Raiders offense.
Both, yeah.
This Raiders offense ain't been good at all.
Yeah.
That's facts. But all the bad offenses put points up on you.
Yeah.
But all the bad offenses put points up on you, ladies and gentlemen. So that's just me kind of going back and forth with it.
But this is, this is, in your opinion, the worst offense the Cowboys will have seen all season.
It's so terrible. It's so terrible. Like, I think the worst
offensive line for sure.
The offensive line for sure. The worst passer that you probably saw this year was like Justin Fields or something.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Justin Fields than Geno right now. Geno's not, and that's just passing game. We're not operating this thing at all. Ashton Genty can play,
yes,
but the offensive line is toe up. So to be positive, like Derek, some people just distracting. This is the time to where you're getting a ton of help, and you're getting that help exactly where like you need it, but exactly where they would try to beat you at. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna lose this game, it would be because the offensive line of the Raiders found a way to block you up front, and Genty turns into some superhero. I think that'll be how it was done. The Raiders would win like the Panthers beat you, right? They would run the ball. They'll throw it over you here or there if they figure out a way to do it, but they're going to beat you running the football, right? But there's an opportunity for Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, also whatever the combination of big guys are, those edges, and Demo coming back. This is the first game. He's kind of getting his feet up on him. No camp, but it's his first time. And then you got Logan Wilson there. So like that's where the Cowboys get extremely better, from 0 to 100 better, but that's where the Raiders could possibly beat you at.
How do they mitigate the risk of Brock Bowers? Because I hear what you're saying. I don't think that they get it going with the run game, because I think right now the Cowboys are a better run defense. We'll see. My guess is that they're going to be a better run defense than they've been. Yeah. Where I still wonder is the passing game, and I look at somebody like him, and against good defenses, I see him get off. So I could see this week where he could hit you for 150 yards. Yeah. How do you mitigate that problem?
The Cowboys have been terrible on defense, but I think the difference here and what we've seen from them is that Bowers doesn't have like a top tier wide receiver to go along with him. They got some wide receivers that can run. Trey Tucker can run, can get behind you, things like that. But I don't see him as like think about the Cardinals game, right? Mm-hmm. Trey McBride is a dangerous tight end, right? So you can't put all the resources into him, because then Marvin Harrison will go and be talented on you, right?
Which he did.
He did. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. The Raiders don't have a Marvin Harrison to take pressure off of Brock Bowers. Now, This Cowboys defense where dreams come true. But I think if they can deal with Bowers and if you can deal with the run game, I don't think the Raiders have a lot of options to try to beat you.
Yeah, Derek, I to your question, I don't think they have a really good answer. I don't. And maybe it turns into when you go back and it's pass rush and it's 27 sacks and it's multiple pressures and it's pick your guy you want to break down on the offensive line. It's the right guard. It's the left tackle. It's the right tackle. It just Ashton Genty having to pick up, Moster having to pick up as a blitz pickup guy. they have issues with their protection. So all of a sudden, the Brock Bowers will be the target. He will be the focal point of their offense. I told you this. I mean, their offense really is kind of geared towards throwing him the football. And so I don't think Dallas has particularly a great answer for that. I'd love to say that, wow, Jordan Lewis is going to walk up, all of a sudden he's going to show up and go cover Brock Bowers. I don't know. We've talked about, in the past, these tight ends. Do you play Bland over there? Do you use somebody over there? Do you cover him like do you treat him like a wide receiver? I mean, but he is such a rare athlete in his ability, the explosiveness and stuff like that. You're going to almost feel like that he's going to get his. Can you keep everything else in check right there? That's going to be the challenge. I don't think Dallas has anybody that can cover him. I just don't.
Yep. This might be one of those games where the offense is your best defense. If the Cowboys can get out to that early lead and put pressure on that offense to have to keep up, that's where you can be. That's kind of how it seems like the Jets game went along, was just you put so much pressure on their offense just couldn't keep up. And I think that's really maybe the Cowboys' best option if this defense doesn't have some remarkable turnaround with all these additions, which we don't know. We just have no idea. There's nothing to base that's that kind of. That's your hope, but you can't base that on anything. That's hope.
But you couldn't get worse. I mean, I feel like you would definitely see some improvement there.
Yes, you could get worse.
You can get worse.
You could get worse. This team could score 30, 40 points on you, then that would be worse.
Right. And what I would say is
they're not going to do that.
You can get worse from the standpoint, I think the run defense will be better, but it might further exploit the fact that they got a really poor secondary, right?
Yeah.
Or that the secondary's not playing up to par. Like, that's the part where it could get worse is, they stopped the run. Genty didn't do anything, but, man, it was like bombs away every other play, And if that happens, then I think that is a little bit worse than maybe where you were before. Even though you've solved one problem, the other problem is just so large, and you don't have any resources coming. Like, you got Trayvon, you can hope there, but Trayvon was here earlier this year when things weren't going well.
But I mean, I remember having this conversation with you guys before, whether you prefer stopping the run or having a worse secondary, allowing those passes or the passing game. So now you're in a situation where you can potentially improve in stopping the run. So to me, yes, they can kill you through throwing the ball and getting to the end zone, but it would still be an improvement on the defense as a whole, because now you're managing the game a little differently. You're giving more opportunities a lot quicker for your offense to get back on the field and hopefully keep up with scoring points as well.
Let me just say, man, Ambar makes the greatest points.
Oh, wow.
She loved to fight.
Wow. Today must be a great day.
No, I've told you this before. I'm not phony. She makes fantastic because she just keep it simple. You're not wrong. How the Cowboys would do that earlier in the season, right? It depended on personnel. They didn't have the guys to stop the run with less dudes. So how they dealt with stopping the run was put more bodies in the box, and it worked. But when you have more bodies in the box, you can't defend.
On the back.
You got better dudes now. Better dudes it makes everything better. Mm-hmm. So now with Quinn, there's this analytic study, and I hate analytics, but I was just so enamored by it or whatever, that teams are going bigger at the ones and the threes to be able to stop the run so they could drop more dudes in coverage. Mm-hmm. So when we'll be watching film a couple weeks ago, Marquise Bell would be walked down, or like Leofau would just be walked down, right? Now you could be like, okay, Marquise, we don't need you necessarily because Quinnen's here. And this ain't me being hyperbolic because Quinnen is a Cowboy. He's the number one run defending defensive tackle. He's going to be right in the middle this time. The Jets tried to do some weird stuff where they try to make him a three-tech. They ain't this game. They're going to put him right over the center at either side, sometimes at zero, and he's going to whoop feet. I think Overshown is going to have a fun time just running around, tackling people. Same with Logan Wilson, on top of the idea that Kenny Clark and Osa are also going to be bringing you more help. So now what you're doing is you don't have to pick either or. Now you I'm going to deal with the run with these 5 or 6 guys. Mm-hmm. 2 linebackers at the most, 5 or 6 guys, right? Yeah. And then I'll drop my muddy coverage because that's worked against guys like Fields or like Jalen Hurts or those guys.
The worst quarterbacks that you've played.
If you don't process all that well, dropping guys in coverage ain't a bad idea.
Never.
But you got to stop the run when that happens.
Yeah, the thing that you.
But great point, Ambar. Thank you. Go ahead, Brian.
But all of a sudden, if you get into a game though, in this game, and all of a sudden the Raiders are protecting, they're blocking your front. Now you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And and I say that with really not with a lot of weapons on the outside, with the exception of the couple of tight ends they have, and they can throw the ball to Ashton Genty if they want to as well. But I just kind of feel like though that if we watch the first quarter of this game and all of a sudden it's There's no pass rush. There's no pass rush. There's no pass rush. Dallas could be in trouble in this game. They really could be.
Prior to this game, the worst tackle I've seen all year was the kid from the Giants,
Elamignor.
That fella. DJ Glaze, the right tackle for the Raiders, he's so much worse than them. He's so much worse than him. The entire Raiders offensive line can be got, but Glaze is one in particular. 27 sacks. If you're looking him up, he got to be like 10 of them. Yeah. He will be proud of Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele looked like a saint compared to DJ Glaze. So this has to be the week. Flus, please. This has to be the week. I feel good about the interior pressure, but man, let's get James Houston them going, man. Let's get Donovan Ezraku a couple more sacks, man. Let's keep this momentum going.
Because they've been on the upward trend.
Pass rushers, guys. So I used to have a joke where I would find some practice squad offensive line and be like, man, even if this dude was playing, we ain't getting pressure. I can't tell that joke anymore because the pass rush has improved with less rotation. Yeah. Pass rush has improved. I just need them to bring that to this party and keep on building on it.
I told you Will Putnam was your guy.
What the name is?
Will Putnam.
Hey, man, back in the day, Putnam would have blocked everybody. 6 weeks ago, Putnam would have blocked all these shit.
All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll come back. I got some questions for you guys. I want to talk about Kaylin Carson. We haven't talked much about him. He had a chance to get out there and play a little bit last week. I want to get some thoughts from you on what you saw. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Every day begins with a promise to work hard and to build a future. That's why we're here, providing the tools, expertise, and John Deere equipment you have relied on for generations to help you get the job done right. We're with you. That's our promise to you, because no matter the project or the challenge you're facing,
we're with you. We're united.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
I'm home. Hey, Mom, before you ask, I've done my homework and the dishwasher's unloaded.
Nice. Hey, can you... Hey, hon, yes, I've got the finale ready to play. Here's your wine.
Wow. Isn't it nice not having to ask? We think so. That's why if there's a network interruption, AT&T will proactively credit you for a full day of service, guaranteed. Credit for fiber downtime lasting 20 minutes or more, or for wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for details.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
How's it going? You see that Cowboys game?
Oh, I watched. Been seeing some good things.
Totally. They have some talent.
Yup, some great talent.
And they got some fight.
Hoping this is the year.
Me too. Oh, I'm Cody, by the way.
I'm Travis.
Nice to meet you, Travis. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys!
Make a new friend based solely on their shirt choice. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Copyright 2025 Bank of America Corporation.
Back to the break.
AT&T, connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. We are in the final segment of the break, live from this WBC Mortgage Studios at the Star, presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. CY at LG.com/OLED Evo. All right. Kaylin Carson, last week, he returned to the lineup after missing time for an injury. I think I saw that he played 40 plays. Yeah. He had 0 targets, though. And my question for you guys, I went back and kind of just isolated. I did a little cut up on just his plays. Yeah. It actually looked pretty good to me.
Scared you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I was like, what am I missing here? Yeah. But, Brian, you obviously have a little more better trained eye than I do. What did you see in watching Kaylin Carson.
Trained guys got me doing radio with you guys, right? How about that?
Hey, man.
I've always loved your analysis, and I appreciate the analysis that you give, Brian.
He was always in favor.
Brian, their loss is our gain. Let's just put it like that.
I love doing work with you guys. Absolutely.
Carson was always in phase. It didn't look like he got lost a bunch, Brian.
The thing about it was, and I agree with Derek on this, because I just wanted to know. I know there were people on social platforms that were asking, like, well, what about Carson? How do we get him involved? He went out there, and I was looking to see if it was a confident player. I was looking to see if it was a player that was playing, as Voch just said, in phase. Was it zone? Was it man? Was his responsibility? Did he have to help? Did he have help? Was there safeties over there? How did he play overall? And maybe it was one of those things where they said, okay, we're not gonna look over there. We're just gonna look. We got other players we want to look at right now. Sure. But I'll say this, though. I did see a guy that was moving with some confidence. His ability to, like, when he had to play off and to drive, and if the ball was going away, him trying to hustle over and get to the play. This was a guy, when we saw him last, he wasn't confident. He didn't. He was beat up. He was battered. He wasn't a good player, and he was in a bad spot. And then he gets hurt. And then we all start to talk about, well, there's another one. There's another miss. There's another miss. And he had to hear that probably all the offseason. It was nice to see him get out there and have some productive reps to the point where, I'm more interested, put him out there. I kind of have an idea of what Elam and others are. I have an idea of what those guys are. Just if you're gonna put him in that way, go ahead and play him. Throw him in the deep end of the pool again and see if he swims. I think he might.
I think Carson had a really good balance, and this is a
good word,
like a corner thing, but like between aggression and patience.
There you go.
What I mean,
that's
like,
good
you
word.
can't be too patient. Because if you're too aggressive, because look, that'll happen to him. Like somebody will run past him.
Oh yeah,
he's
double move,
and now he's trying to get that back. He's so aggressive to try to get that back. But I feel like in the Cardinal game, and it could be level of competition not named Marvin Harrison. There's a lot of games we have to look at and evaluate. But he was very patient. He read things. Seemed like he saw things very well. But when it was time to use his hands and kind of fight a little bit, he was kind of right there. He was,
got him right
in phase. So I mean, hey, Caleb, hey man. You can't miss. You know what I mean? What else is it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
him and Revel, throw him out there.
Yeah, I'll say I think one of the things that kind of last year I think started the descent for me anyway, watching him, was that game against the Ravens. Yeah. And kind of how he was kind of dealing with that beast of a man that's a running back. But I saw a couple times in this game where he came up in run support. Yep. He set the edge against bigger guys and forced the runner back inside to his help. And I thought, that's what I want to see. That says to me, when you talk about Brian, a confident player, that says to me he knows his responsibility. He's confident enough to get up there and do it. And that's the aggressiveness that I saw training camp 2 years ago that made me start first saying, hey, I think Kaylin Carson got some. I think he can be a player.
Yeah, the word was balance, and that was really well said on the scouting side of it. But the thing about it is with him is that you look at him, at Wake Forest, he was a guy that was an attacking player. Mm-hmm. He was okay with coming up and trying to make plays and throw his body around. And even when you threw a ball on him and it was a catch, he would come back the next play. He would rally. But I just think overall, though, if you just sat down and watched his play, it's just all him, you would have to be very pleased with what you saw. A lot of positives, not many negatives looking at that player. And hopefully that can kind of get him going again this week against the Raiders.
All right, that's a wrap. We will be back tomorrow. We'll dive into this Raiders defense versus the Cowboys offense. Till then, for Voch Lombardi, Brian Broaddus, and Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?